And on a personal note, as president of the board, I want to recognize 3 folks who have worked really hard on your behalf over the last 3 years, and they're now entering a well-deserved sabbatical from service on the board. Charlie Honey, who we just met from Grand Rapids, Jason DeRose of NPR, here, in the back, and Yonat Shimron of the Raleigh News and Observer. They're all cycling off the board, and we are profoundly grateful to each of you for everything that you've contributed. And we also have 2 brave new souls who have agreed against their better judgment to join us on the board. Kathleen Falsani of the Chicago Sun-Times, who will be feeding tonight, and Dale Hansen-Burke, my former publisher at Religion News Service, and now an active fundraiser on behalf of efforts to combat AIDS in Zambia. They are our new board members. So, last night, your RNA board, and notice that I said your board because we actually work for all of you, sketched out the initial vision for the long-term future of religion news writers. And you don't need me to tell you that this has been one of the most challenging, difficult, heartburn-inducing years in our industry. We've lost some dear colleagues to buyouts and downsizing. We've been forced to lobby to keep our own jobs on the payroll. We've seen sections and news holes eliminated or shrunk. And the worst part is that it's only likely to get worse before it gets better. We've heard a lot about change in this election, and each of you have weathered the changes confronting your own newsrooms. But we've also heard a lot about hope this year, and I'm still a believer that there's reason to hope for a very bright future for us here at RNA. We've got so much talent in this room, so much energy, so many bright, smart people that I'm absolutely convinced we'll be able to make it through this together. And we're in it together. That's what really defines RNA. It's the collegiality, the familiar faces, the unique camaraderie that we have that a lot of other journalists don't, the satisfaction in knowing that it's okay to be a religion nerd, that it's okay to know the difference between Episcopal and Episcopalian, that we're not in this alone. And so that's what this conference is all about, and there are no doubt stories to find here and sources to add to your Rolodex, and new things to be learned and new books to pick up, but there are deep and abiding friendships and an unqualified sense of solidarity and a powerful, powerful sense of hope that we're all in this together, that we're going to make it through this together, and that none of us are really out there alone, even though it feels that way sometimes. So to that end, one crystal clear thing that emerged from our board meeting last night is that our annual conference is and will be always RNA's top priority. We, as your board, are committed to finding ways to make each conference better than the last, to find the financial support to get you here when your editor won't pay for it, and to make this and all conferences the most important thing that we do, and hopefully the highlight of your professional year. Now, you may have heard recently that Religion News Writers was awarded a $35,000 challenge grant. That's $35,000. That means that if we raise $35,000, we get $70,000 from our grant funders. And part of that money will allow us to develop the resources and the long-term strategies to keep these conferences the best that they can be. And I've been so proud, and I can't really say it, so incredibly proud to see how each of you have risen up to the challenge in recent months as we've sort of started a more proactive fundraising campaign from within the membership. And you've heard a lot this year about our $7,500 campaign for scholarships to send folks to the conference, and we are within shouting distance of making that. And that's something that we just started barely 6 months ago. So we're almost there. So I'd encourage you, if you haven't yet, to do what you can to help us meet that goal. All donations are, of course, tax deductible. And when we meet next year in Minneapolis, and I hope every one of you is there, I want to come back to you as your president and say that we have not only raised that $35,000, but that we have surpassed it.